Good day, everybody. I was asked to do a quick, easy startup video for the A4 mod for our group, so I decided to go ahead and make one. Pretty awesome view of the aircraft from the outside. A lot of cool features. Very well done on this module. For a free mod, it doesn't get much better. Anywho, let's jump into the cockpit, take a look. Few things you have to remember with this one starting up. It's very old school, so you need to use ground power. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the stick just to hide that. We won't need that right away. The way I do this, first things first, let's go ahead and put the wheel chocks on because it does tend to move under idle. Just in case, that way we're not on the brakes. All right. Second, you'll need to put on ground power. All done through the F10 menu. Ground power on. And a little APU will pop up in the screen right there. And remember, you have to do all of this with the canopy open, otherwise it won't work. Next step is we'll want to focus on your RPM gauge right here in the middle. This is where it gets a little critical. You have to kind of look at that at the same time you're clicking. So now the ground power's on. This light will come on a few seconds later. That means it's ready to start. So once that starts, you can hit the starter button. Wait a few moments. You can see the RPM gauge up there hit about 15%. And you right click on the throttle, bring it to the first step. You'll watch that RPM gauge start to climb more. I'll wait till it gets past the 20, right about there. Then I go ahead and give it running into idle. And off it goes. I'll let that stabilize. That'll go up to about that 55 mark and stabilize once it's ready. As you can see, the power is now on. We got the lights on in here. That's the aircraft started. At this point, you are free and clear to go ahead and turn the ground power off. Do that with the F10 menu again. Ground power off. We'll wait for the APU to disappear. Boop, and that's gone. One thing I do recommend doing is going at this point, you can go ahead and turn on your oxygen. I turn everything into standby. Turn the radar into standby here. Let that warm up. Not everything is modeled, obviously, so it's kind of a little bit different than what we're used to. But still very well done. If you're using SRS, SRS does work in this, so you can use your radios. TACAN does work as well. I do have TACAN set on this field. Oops. Let's go ahead and turn that on. And you can see the TACAN radio here is set to TACAN. And it's right across the airfield, so it's not going to show a distance on this point, but it's there. It does tell you how to get back to base if you have it set up. Instrument lights along that side panel here. That's pretty much it, at least to start up. Now, if you're going to arm the jet, make sure you do this with the canopy open, otherwise they won't know it. You can do it with the aircraft started. It does work. I normally do it before the startup, but this was just a quick startup video just to get everything started. We'll go ahead and shut the canopy now since we're not arming up. Actually, never mind, I got to open that up to take the wheel chocks off because apparently there's no crew chief radio on this, so you have to keep the canopy open.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
The track IR was jittery there for a moment.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now
At this point, you want to do hold on to your toe brakes because it does occasionally want it to roll forward. At least the old model did. Uh, so now that wheel chocks are off, we can go ahead and shut the canopy, and we're ready to taxi. Uh, we'll go ahead and turn on the canopy or the instrument lighting here just to show it. Um, Pretty nice, really. They do a real good job of it. Does have dome lights that do work, depending on what you want to set it up as, red or white. Uh, Pretty well. So taxiing this thing is a little bit tricky. Um, as you can imagine, it's got a really, really narrow landing gear, and it's technically only a cast ring nose wheel, so you got to use your toe brakes to steer. Even though this mod does have a nose wheel steering button that you can use for taxiing, but I would not recommend doing that over a crawl because you'll tip this thing over in a heartbeat. Uh, so pretty much the only way to steer it without tipping over is using the differential brakes. And close that. And this is only using the toe brakes. So it works pretty good. You got to kind of pay attention a little bit. But it does work pretty well. If it does get too bouncy, you can push nose down on the stick, and that'll help hold the nose down a little bit more. Same thing on the takeoff roll. You got to do the same thing. And I'm still getting used to this thing myself, so it's a lot of fun. It does iron bombing quite a bit. It's all old school bombing tables, which you can get to from. I'll just show you here. You go to the knee board, and there's a lot of information on the knee board here. And there you go. There's your bombing tables that you can set up for your reticles and placement for your dive angles and things like that. So that's pretty cool. Uh, and I was actually able to hit stuff the other day, which is cool. Uh, but we'll save the takeoff in other activities for later on. But this is just a short video to show you how to get this thing up and running. All right. Have a good day, everybody. See you on the flight line.